When you do not know the direction that you are going in, you will continue going the wrong way, right? When you do not know the direction that you're going in, you will continue to go the wrong way. And so you can have passion for things that is not the direction you're supposed to go. In order to even have passion to begin with, you must be aware of what your will is, and your will should match what God's will is for your life. So when you're operating in your purpose, it's the purpose that God has created you to operate in, right? So when you are aware of that will, your passion will drive that, right? And it'll keep you going in the direction that you are supposed to go. And so as we learned the previous weeks about showing up as our true authentic self, not showing up at the wrong places, being our true identity, our true self, not showing up to the right places, not being our true self, and not showing up to the people that we're called to, not being our true self. So if we've been working on that and working on the coping mechanisms, you should now be going in the right direction, right? So you can have like power of status, your name can hold weight, but even in that, you can still not have drive, you cannot have motivation, you cannot have fire. So what happens is you take that power of your name, the status, all of that, you take that and you place it in the wrong direction, right? You end up operating completely opposite of your purpose, full of all of this status, full of all of this weight, right? So the direction that you're going, the speed that you're traveling in that direction, and the weight you carry, all of them have equal impact on the momentum of the direction that you're going in. So we want to expose that lack of direction in our lives, which should have automatically been on your mind as you went through the previous weeks. So that way we can get back on track on the direction that we are supposed to be going in. So this is not going to be like surface work. You know, it's going to require the truth. It's going to require you to continue to get rid of the facades, the masks, the coping mechanisms that kept you neglecting your true identity, right? You're not going to know what direction to go in if you're still not settled on who you are. Okay? Discouragement. Discouragement will make your heart switch directions, right? You're going the right way, you're operating fully in your purpose, but somewhere, somehow, you got discouraged. It will make your heart switch directions. It will change the direction. It will change your passion. It will change your drive, which of course will change your momentum. So instead of being steadfast and courageous, you become fearful and compromising. You end up cowering into a place so low that you fail to possess what was promised simply because you cannot look up, right? Discouragement causes your heart to change directions. But you have to look up to be a conqueror, right? You have to look at what it is that you're conquering. Losers are not, they're not looking up, right? If you are a winner, you're looking at what you're going to possess. You're envisioning where you're going, okay? So in order to be a conqueror, you have to look up. So the first thing you end up agreeing with when you're discouraged, the first thing that you end up agreeing with when you're discouraged is you stop looking for it to happen, right? Then you stop waiting on it. You stop hoping for it. That's what happens when you are discouraged, right? We have to kick that out and rip up that agreement, because discouragement will cause your heart to switch directions. You have to go find it, dig it back up. You have to hope again. You have to find some support and pick up where you left off. If you find yourself discouraged, it will change your direction, okay? Your brain, this matter up here, will lock you into a mindset that makes you feel like you can't. It'll make you feel like you won't, you don't, you should have, would have, could have, right? This mindset will tell you everything backwards to keep you looking in the opposite direction. Okay? It will cause you to declare the opposite of what you should be declaring. And it will even make you hear and see false visions of failure and lack that don't even exist, right? Your mind will automatically tell you, you're going to fail before you even start. You start discouraging yourself. We're supposed to be encouraging ourselves, but our brain will cause us to discourage ourselves, right? So God, the way maker, right? He's always making a way. But are we turning from the direction that the way was made? Okay, are we too busy watching the people who may or may not be portraying Christ correctly more than we're watching Christ, right? Because if we watch the people too long, we start to follow them and not him. We start to go off their opinions, their expectations, and not God's, which causes us to change direction, right? It causes us to get off the path that we're supposed to be on. So how many of you know that it's hard to watch something for a long time before you're going in the same direction that you're looking, right? So you must control the direction that you're looking at. If you're watching something or someone that's going in the same direction as you, great. If you start doing this, if you do this long enough, that's the direction you're going to go. If you look back long enough, that's the direction you're going to be going. Okay? So control the direction that you are looking. Make sure you're not looking at things and people that is not in the direction that you are going. Are you thinking in the direction you're supposed to be going? So let's push looking to the side, right? Are you even thinking in the direction that you should be going, or are you thinking the opposite? Okay, whatever you think, of course, we all know it's before long you're going to be doing what you're thinking. And if you're thinking in the opposite direction, guess what? You're going in the opposite direction. Okay, your thinking, this is important. Your thinking is a mental process that continues in whatever direction it's going until it is controlled. Your thinking is a mental process that continues in whatever direction it's going until you take control of it. Okay? Your imagination, though, that is made by your efforts. Your imagination is made by you voluntarily tapping into that particular thought, right? So when you think and your thoughts turn down a road you don't want to go down, you either control that thought by casting it down or by turning that thought in a new direction, right? But your imagination, on the other hand, that's you going down that road and you see something else on that road and you decide to investigate what's on the road, where it's going, what will happen when it gets there, all while you're staying on the right road, right? But if you're on the wrong road and you attach your imagination to that, right? If you're thinking what's going to happen next, if your imagination is tapped into that wrong road, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be hammered with fear. You're going to imagine danger at every turn. You're going to envision death and destruction, right? All of the negative possibilities is what your imagination will do with a thought that's on the wrong road. Are y'all following me? Okay. So there's power in your imagination, and your imagination also drives your direction. Okay, so remember, your thinking, your thoughts, they're going to continue to happen until you control them. So if you just let them go wherever they want to go, if you're going to just let them go wherever they want to go, they're going to go wherever they want to go, wherever they want to go. You have to control the direction of your thoughts. And not only that, you have to make sure that your thoughts are on the right road before you attach your imagination to it, right? So there's power in your imagination, and your imagination also drives your direction. So I want all of you to write this down. In order to have direction, in order to have direction, you must agree with God on the destination. In order to have direction or instructions about the direction you're going, you must agree with God on your destination. A lot of people are going in circles praying for direction, right? But disagreeing with God about where he said they were going to go. If you don't agree with him about your destiny, why would he give you the steps in that direction just for you to disobey him? If you don't even agree with God about where you should go. Okay? I don't want to be blind and disobedient, right? You can be blind, but to be blind and disobedient, you know what I mean? So you have to open your eyes and open your mind first to understand where God wants you to go. What is your purpose, right? And then he will speak to you those steps to point you in that direction because you have accepted his plan, okay? God can't answer the second thing because when he answered the first thing, you had to obey that in order to even be in position to receive the next step, right? So the first thing you have to agree on is the destination to get the direction that you need to go, okay? So when we ask God, what do you want me to do? And he says, go out, let your light shine, right? Go out, take care of the poor, feed the hungry, go out, heal diseases and sicknesses and demonstrate my power. That's what he tells you, right? So what do? We tell him every excuse of why we can't, what we don't have, who we don't have, blah, 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 whatever excuse, right? And we keep ending up at square one. And then so we say, God, which way you want us to go? I didn't hear anything. You know why you didn't hear him? Because it's still the same answer. Let your light shine. Take care of the poor, feed the hungry, demonstrate his power, right? Your direction is toward what God told you to do. And then we ask, well, God, how am I supposed to do that? We're asking how, and we still have not obeyed the first response he gave us. Okay? We can figure out how to do everything else but what God tells us to do, right? We're going to figure out how to put food on the table. We're going to figure out how to keep the lights on and to keep gas in the car. But we get real ignorant when we need to do what God told us to do. All of a sudden, you know, we don't know how to operate anymore, right? How many of you have done some unbelievable things without God's help? How many people have done some unbelievable things without God's help? You've gotten it done just in the determination of your human spirit, right? But now we're believers and we have access to an all-powerful God, and we need help lifting the finger. We need help making a phone call. We need help being at the place that he ordained us to be, right? So the more that we agree with God about us, the more we will hear and see about us. Okay, so that was today's lesson for today is direction. If you don't know the direction you're going to continue going the wrong way. Make sure that your thoughts, your imagination, that they are being controlled and that you are looking and thinking in the direction that you're supposed to be going. Make sure you agree with God's destination and purpose for you. If you don't agree with him, you're not going to hear which way you're supposed to go because you're blinded to it. You're already blinded. Okay. So these next 7 days, I want you to focus on your direction. First, you have to agree with God on the destination. Okay. So some people might have to work on that agreement first. Like, okay, God told you what he wanted you to do, and you still like, nah, I'm not doing it yet. Well, why do you want him to tell you how to get there if you didn't agree? Okay. So first, these next 7 days, you're going to agree on the destination and then ask God for direction. And make sure you are looking in that direction that he gave you, in that purpose that he gave you. Make sure your thoughts and your imagination is toward what he gave you. Okay. Don't watch people that are not going in the same direction. Because if you watch them long enough, you're going to go in the same direction they're going in, which is opposite of where you should be going. Okay. So I hope that this quick lesson has helped you guys. If you've been having questions about instruction, about direction, check and see if you agree with God on the destination. Okay. Check and see if you're looking or watching things behind you and you can't figure out why you keep going back, because you're watching what's behind you. You're not envisioning and imagining what he told you. Okay. The vision is major, right? Vision is major because in order to write something down, in order to plan something, you have to see it, right? So you see the vision, you write it down. Once you write it down, it's going to work. If it stays up here, it stays up here. Once you put it to paper, once you put it physically manifested in front of you, and it's no longer in the realm of thought, all of that begins to start working toward what you wrote down. It works toward what you planned. As long as it stays up here, that's where it stays. Everything else stays up here as well. But when you put it down and you put it in your books, you put it in your tablets, you put it on your phone, you put it where you can see it constantly, that's the direction that you will be going in. All right. Well, it was great having you guys on today, and we will see you again next Friday at 3. And make sure, don't forget that every new person that you meet, you're not giving them your representative. You're starting off being exactly who God created you to be. You're not going to dumb yourself down. You're not going to minimize yourself. You're not going to do anything that would make them like you more. You're going to be your authentic self. And we're also supposed to be working on the relationships that we already have and showing up as our authentic self in them as well. But definitely, everybody that we meet from now on, we're not apologizing for who we are. They're either going to stay or they're going to leave, and we're not caring about it. Okay. And so if we've done that all our lives, being who everybody else wanted us to be, we're not going to finish our lives that way. We're going to finish being ourselves authentically, showing up to the places we're supposed to show up to, showing up for the people we're supposed to show up for. Okay.